Hi everyone and welcome to today's mobility class. My name is Kayla and today's mobility class is going to focus on helping you improve your squat. We're going to go over a few different foam rolling exercises today, some stretches and some mobility exercises that can work on helping improve your squat over time. That being said, for today's home mobility class, you will need a little bit of equipment, and I know not everyone has everything, so I'm going to do my best to show some alternatives that you can do if you don't have a foam roller at home. So what I've got here, I've got kind of a grooved foam roller. It doesn't matter what kind of foam roller you have. They're all going to work the same for this moment. And then I also have a yoga block and a lacrosse ball. So lacrosse ball is really hard. It's going to help me show you guys some alternatives for our foam roller today. If you do not have a lacrosse ball, if you have a tennis ball or some other ball about the same size, I even have next to me a massage ball as well. This one's a little bit bigger, as you can see. It doesn't matter, just something that's going to be sturdy enough to do some massages with. If you don't have a yoga block at home, a stack of books, something of a sturdy elevated surface is also going to work just fine for you. Now, before we get started today, it's really important for you to know your limits here. Whether you have a knee injury, a hip injury, spinal or anything like that, please don't push yourself. We want to feel mild discomfort in some of these soft tissue while we're foam rolling some of the soft tissue and some of these stretches. But to improve it, we don't want to push ourselves past the point that we're feeling like a white hot pain. So please know your limits as we do this today. If an exercise we're doing feels really good and you want to do it longer than I'm doing, pause the video, go ahead and hold it a little bit longer and resume when you're ready. So again, my name is Kayla. Let's go ahead and get started with some foam rolling today. Now I will say these aren't the most comfortable in the world, especially if you're doing a lot of walking or a lot of running, all these body weight exercises we've been doing the last few weeks. It's a lot on our legs. So to start, I'm going to actually make you start standing today. So I've got some space here in the room. I want to just have you be aware of what your squat feels like, okay? So when we do this squat today, I want your chest up, shoulders pulled back. I want you to engage that core here. We want to spread those feet a little wider than hip width, toes slightly out. And I want you, when you're doing these squats, to sit back in your heels, keeping that chest nice and tall. And I want you to give me 5 body weight squats, okay? They don't have to be perfect, but I want you to see how that feels. So let's go ahead and start with me. So I'm going to, again, pull my shoulders back. I'm sinking into my squat, and I'm bringing it right back up. Now, I know I've got this couch behind me. I am not tapping to the couch. I'm right in front of it so you guys can see me. Good. And if you feel really tight right now, that's okay. This is going to help you see how you feel before class and after class. Good. Just 5 squats there. Again, we're going to be starting with this foam rolling. So as we foam roll, make sure you have enough space on the room. Again, I'm going to set a timer. You can stick along with me or pause it if you need longer here. We're going to start off with our quads. So on our quads, if you're new to foam rolling, they're really cheap. You can find them on Amazon or any online store or anything right now if you need to order one for yourself. We're going to start by lying our hips right on top of that foam roller. So, gently bringing our hips down. I want you to walk your forearms out until you're in a plank position. Now here, guys, it's important to get that core tight, so we're going to pull ourselves forward and make sure that we're in a plank position. So we don't want our hips sagging. We also don't want to round that back. Once we're here, we're going to pull from our hips down toward our knees, looking for tension. So as we do this today, when you're foam rolling, if you're new to it, you want to feel where that spot feels tense. So if you have a knot, if you find that tight spot, I want you to gently sit on it or roll it out. We're going to do a whole minute here, and I want you to really just listen to your body, focus on your breathing. Let's go ahead and begin. 1 minute starts now. 15 seconds left here. And go ahead and gently relax, coming back off of that foam roller, bringing it back to your knees here. So what we just did, we foam rolled our quads. Again, if they feel pretty tight and you want to do longer than a minute today, pause that video, get them a little bit longer, or at the end of today's class, repeat a few of these movements, okay? So we're going to be moving on. We typically, when we foam roll, a lot of people hit their quads, their back, but we tend to neglect our inner and outer thigh, especially if you're running and walking right now. We're doing a lot of high impact exercises like jumping. We really want to make sure that we're loosening those areas up. For our very first one, we're going to be foam rolling our adductors, so our inner thighs. We're going to do one side at a time, and I want you to see that difference in your body. Are you tighter on one side? Do you feel even? Pay attention to that as we do this, and most importantly, know how to relax your body. It's really easy to get super tense and tight as we're foam rolling, so I want you to focus on your breathing, focus on just relaxing your neck, relaxing your back here. So for this next one, if you have a pillow or a yoga block near you, if you need something to rest your head on, this is one that you can do it with. We're going to start off on our stomach to make this easy. Now, from here, I want you to have that foam roller on your right side. We're going to start with that right leg. When you're ready, I want you to lift your right leg up 90 degrees and place it on top of that foam roller. So you might have to angle that foam roller a little bit so you can get that thigh on there. Now from here, I am on my forearms. If you feel comfortable, you can relax down to a nice comfortable laying position on the floor. What my goal for you is, I want you to roll from your inner thigh all the way down toward your knee. I want you to pay attention. I want you to get that whole length here. You might be a little bit tighter toward your knee, or you might be tight in your adductors up top. So again, find that tight spot, breathe through it. We're going to do a whole minute here. And if you're new to this, you kind of have to push your knee, push that weight into that leg. And I want you to pull that leg back and forth here, okay? So let's go ahead and get ready. Again, if you need a pillow here, get comfortable on that floor. And let's go ahead and begin, guys. We're halfway if you need to work your way toward your knee or toward your inner thigh here. Again, adjusting that foam roller as needed. I'm lifting up to get a little bit more pressure. Seconds. And relax. Go ahead and stay on the floor here, back onto your stomach. We're going to switch that foam roller over to your left side so you guys don't have to get off on the floor. I'm going to go ahead and switch directions just so you guys can see me here. But again, I'm doing my left side. So back on our stomachs, bringing that leg across our foam roller. You might have to angle that foam roller a little bit. Again, start where you want. If you want to start up by your knee or your inner thigh here. And let's go ahead again, 1 minute on our other side, seeing if we notice any difference. We're halfway if you need to work your way toward the opposite direction. And relax. Again, if you need longer, pause the video here, continue on. You can always hit both sides again if you notice that was one of your tight spots. We are going to hit our outer thigh next, which is going to require a little bit of shoulder stabilization. So on this one, though, it's kind of like a side plank. Your arms will get a little bit tired. So if you can't do a full minute on this, take a break, go back into it when you can, or just do as long as you can. So what I would like you to do is now we're going to turn our foam roller. I'm going to start on my right side of my body. So what I would like you guys to do, we're going to get right on the side of that foam roller. And when we lay on the foam roller, we want it in the middle of our outer thigh here, okay? So I'm going to gently let myself set that thigh down, walking my hands down to the floor. And from here, I want you to think of a side plank. So I want you to think elbows under shoulders, so I'm stacked. I'm nice and comfortable. Here, we want to make sure we're not out to the side. And then from here, we have a couple options with our legs. So if you want to be really comfortable, you're going to have your opposite foot in front. It's going to take off some of that weight. If you want all of your weight into this, you can do both legs stacked on top of each other. What it's going to look like is we're going to be rolling down the length from our knee to our hip. It's going to be uncomfortable for most of us, so please, again, know your limits here. Use that opposite foot if you need, and take a break when needed. So let's go ahead, and not waste any more time, let's go ahead and get started with that minute. So I'm going to start off from the top of my hip and work my way down to the knee. I'm probably going to run the whole length of this the whole time, but again, if you find a tight spot, you're going to just breathe and sit on top. And again, I've got my other hand kind of helping support me here. We are halfway, so 30 seconds in if you need a break. Ten seconds left. And relax. So gently come off of that foam roller. We're going to be switching sides here. And if that was exhausting, kind of holding yourself up, this one is a difficult one. There are other ways to hit that spot. So if you are somebody that has a lacrosse ball, I don't have a wall directly near me that you guys can see super well. I've got a lacrosse ball. You can place that on your outer thigh here and work it along a wall. So if you don't have that and you skipped past that portion, if you do have a ball, you can do the same thing and work out some of that tension. Your inner thigh is a little bit more difficult. You can take a yoga block and you can place it on there and still put pressure on there. Foam rolling is going to be a little bit easier for that. So let's go ahead and start with our left side. So again, paying attention to our body on our different sides here. Again, letting our middle thigh rest on top of that foam roller, walking it down until we are sturdy. Get that opposite foot in front, elbows right underneath that shoulder, and let's go ahead and begin. So 1 minute here, guys. I know this one's difficult. Try to hang tight here, rolling out that whole length, hip down to our knee. Good. Again, focus on your breathing. Relax your neck. We have 15 seconds remaining. And gently relax. And if you need longer, hold that time, pause that video, and we're going to continue on here. So we've kind of hit our inner and outer thighs. You might have noticed it was very tight there. Another area a lot of us are tight in are our calves. So for our calf exercises, this is where if you have that lacrosse ball or tennis ball and a yoga block and you don't have a foam roller, you can do this one perfectly on your own. Again, a stack of books is going to work just fine as well. What we're going to do for our calves today, you can hit both of your calves at the same time, But just like we did with our legs here, we're going to break it one leg at a time. That way you can really focus and see where you're tight and spend a little bit more time on that muscle. So to start, I'm going to show you both ways and then we'll get started. So for our foam roller, we're going to relax those wrists right underneath our shoulders, placing whichever leg you'd like to start with. I'm going to start with my right leg here on top of that foam roller. Now, if you're so tight that you can just push your leg into that foam roller and feel working that soft tissue, you can stay like that. If you want a little bit more pressure, you're going to overlap that left leg on top and again pushing into that leg. A little bit more pressure than that, you're lifting those hips up and you're really, again, putting some weight into that calf roll here, okay? So we're going to do one side at a time. I will tell you it's, again, a little exhausting on your upper body if you're elevating yourself, so you can just put some pressure into that calf. Now, when we do this, I want you to focus rolling that whole length of that calf, but I also want you to rotate that leg. So I want you to rotate and get on your inner calf here and that outer calf, really working to see where you're tight. So it's going to take some time. I want you to, again, focus on that tension. If you have a lacrosse ball and a yoga block, and if you're wondering kind of what is the difference, are they the same? If you have a lacrosse ball, it's going to be most likely a little bit harder, and so you'll probably feel this a little bit more. It is different than the foam roller because it's not as much surface. If you have a tennis ball, you're still going to feel it, but it won't be as much. It's a softer touch there. So we're going to take that lacrosse ball right in the center. I'm going to place my right calf right on that lacrosse ball here. Now, depending on what you have, the yoga block's not going to have that much surface, so careful about rolling too far. But same thing. I'm just going to roll, putting pressure into that calf, still rotating that leg in and out, though, so don't forget about that aspect. So I'm going to show it with the foam roller. Please know if you have a yoga block and lacrosse ball, feel free to do that. We're going to start with our right side. So again, let's get that foam roller in place. All right, hands behind your shoulders, and let's go ahead and begin. So 1 minute here. I'm going to start gentle, and then I'll overlap the other leg. We're halfway. I'm going to add a little bit more pressure here. "15 seconds left. And relax. You need a little wrist stretch in between that. Feel free to take that, pushing those palms forward. If you did that with the lacrosse ball, I know it's a little bit different, so it probably takes some time getting used to, okay? Let's go ahead and switch over to our left leg. So now we've got our left leg on top. I'm going to start gentle again and then work my way a little harder. So let's go ahead and begin. 1 minute here. Seeing if you feel tighter on this side or if they feel equal. We're halfway. I'm going to add a little bit more pressure. Ten more seconds remain. And relax. So I don't know what you felt on that. I know that I'm a lot tighter on the top of my left calf. That's where I felt a really good knot there. So I really tried to focus on that. I wasn't able to put as much pressure as my right side because it was a little bit more uncomfortable. So already, hopefully that calf's feeling a little bit better here. We're going to hit a few areas of our back, and then we're going to move on to some stretching and mobility exercises, okay? So if you don't have a foam roller and you're watching this and you're fast forwarding here, you're going to be able to do that last portion together with me, okay? So our next one we're going to hit is our thoracic spine. We're going to hit the upper portion of our back. Again, please know your limits on this one. Pay attention to your form and how you feel as we do this. So what I would like you to do, we're going to take that foam roller right behind our back. Now, when we lie on the foam roller here, I want you to get right underneath those shoulder blades, right about mid-back, okay? So we're going to gently ease ourselves down onto that foam roller. Ladies, if you have ponytail or anything like that, gather up that hair so it's not going underneath our foam roller. Same thing if you have a large t-shirt or anything like that. We don't want that to get stuck under. So once we're in position, I'm going to roll again, getting it right underneath my shoulder blades. If you feel comfortable, you're going to bring those heels right underneath our knees. We're just going to gently lift those hips off from the floor. So I'm not elevated extremely. I'm just a little bit off the floor here. And I'm going to let myself push and pull myself over that foam roller. Going from right up to our shoulders to mid-back here. Now you can slowly let your spine relax and fold on top of that foam roller. You're in control here, so don't do anything that feels too uncomfortable. We don't want to get so low that we feel shaky and unsupported. So focus on relaxing your neck into those hands. Close your eyes if you need. I want you to focus on finding those tight spots in your back. We're going to go for a whole minute here. If you need a break, though, a nice way to take it is take those feet flat on the floor, set your bottom down, get it right under those shoulder blades again, and let yourself reach and fold over that foam roller. So if you get tired, you'll probably see me doing that at the end. So let's go ahead and begin. Hands behind our head, gathering again any loose hair or t-shirts, and slowly pushing and pulling ourselves over that foam roller. Good, we're halfway there. Keep that going. For these last 15 seconds, I'm going to put that right on my shoulder blades and let myself reach behind me. I found a nice, comfortable position for myself. And gently relax off of that foam roller, walking yourself back up top. So guys, we're almost toward the end here. We've done a lot of foam rolling. We've got a lot of soft tissue. We're going to hit a few different stretches now to, again, kind of keep working on opening up those hips and releasing some of that tightness. So this isn't going to perfect your squat today. This is something you're going to have to keep working on, and these are just a few of the library of exercises that can help with that squat, okay? So for our next one, you will need an elevated surface here. I'm going to be using my couch, a low chair, a coffee table. That is also going to work. You will want some kind of padding for your knee, so I'm going to use one of my couch pillows right here. So what I'm going to do is just place that couch pillow right by the floor, or by the couch here on the floor. If you have a mat that you can fold up, that's going to work as well, okay? Now from here, I'm going to get my left foot, the top of my foot here is going to be elevated on my couch. I want that knee close to the couch, okay? So we don't want it like super far out. We want it close. And from here, I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to walk my foot in front of me into a lunge and then gently walk myself up from here. Now, we're going to act like someone's got a string on that hip and they're pulling it forward, okay? So instead of leaning forward here, I want you to push that hip and you're going to feel that stretch in that hip flexor. We're going to hold this here for a minute. So I want you to, again, relax, pull those shoulders down and away, and let's hold this and breathe. If you need time to get set up, pause the video. Feeling a nice stretch. If this is too difficult for you, again, bring that time down. Maybe only hold it for 30 seconds. Or again, we're not pressing as much. You can always ease your knee a little bit away from that couch. You can close your eyes if you want. Now I'm doing a gentler stretch of this. You can go a little bit more advanced by bringing it down to the floor. We won't be doing that in today's class, but just so you know that there are variety. We have 10 more seconds left, and then we are going to switch sides. And slowly relax. So I'm going to bring my hands down. I'm going to gently bring it down to the floor here. Taking my right knee now close to that couch. Bringing my left leg up. I'm going to walk it up nice and tall. Again, kind of checking myself here. I've got the back of my foot up on the couch. My knee is close to the couch here. And I'm going to act like someone again is pulling that string from that bony part of your hip here forward. And again, relax. Find that posture and let's breathe. Make sure you feel stable with that front leg. You should have that heel underneath your knee. Keep that core engaged here too as well. Squeeze that glute in the back. We have 15 seconds left if you're still with me on this stretch. And slowly relax. Let's go ahead and bring it down. Take a moment to take a break from our quads for a second, from our hips. Let's go ahead and work on our thoracic spine mobility again. So you probably feel a little bit, almost that tightness after you stretch here. That's okay. What I'd like you to do is take your hands underneath those shoulders. And we're going to sink back into our heels just a little bit, keeping that core nice and tight. From here, guys, I'll show you with my left side first, just so you can see here, so you can start with me. You're going to take that left hand behind our head, and we're going to do some thoracic spine openers. So again, keeping that core engaged, we don't want to be loose here. We want to keep those shoulders pulled back. What this is going to look like is you're going to dip that left elbow toward your right elbow. So I'm feeling a stretch in my back here. And then I'm going to, keeping my core nice and tight, rotate my chest up toward the ceiling. I'm following my gaze with my elbow. I'm not cranking my back. So you want to keep those hips forward and that core tight and only go toward your range here, okay? So what I would like you to do is you're going to give me 5 nice and slow thoracic spine rotations on the left and then 5 on the right. So again, let's get those hands here. We're going to sit back a little bit, get that core tight, left hand behind our head. Let's go ahead and slowly rotate under and slowly rotate up to the ceiling. Good, that's 1. Good. Once you finish all 5 on the left side, we're going to switch 5 on the right. I'm going to switch directions so you guys can see me here. So again, go ahead and just switch arms when you're ready. Again, making sure not to crank our back too far. We want to know our limits here. Right until you feel a nice little stretch in that chest. And focusing on breathing, we don't want to hold our breath on these movements. Good. Once you're done, go ahead and give me a child's pose here. Walk it up to those knees. We're going to do one more movement today, one more stretch to kind of conclude things. Again, there are so many more exercises we can do, but just to kind of keep it in a nice little time crunch that you guys can do during lunch, we're going to do a pigeon stretch. On this next stretch, if you have a pillow or that yoga block near you, you might need it. If you're more of a beginner with a stretch to support your body weight and your chest. If you don't need it at all, just make sure you've got some space out in front of you. So let's go ahead and start. Let's start from the beginning. We're going to start on our stomach here, hands underneath our shoulders. And I want us to start off in a nice little cobra. And when you're ready, I want you to push those hips back into downward dog. And I want you to do it to the point you feel that stretch in those hamstrings and those calves. Let's go ahead and pedal those calves for a second. It might feel tight. It should feel a little bit better after rolling out those calves. Press those heels down to the floor. And when you're ready, I want you to lift your right leg up. And we're going to bring it through underneath our body. Bring it underneath our chest. And if you can, depending on your abilities, you're going to either be extended arm here or work your way down to forearms. Or again, if you've got a pillow, yoga block, and I want you to get comfortable. We want to feel that stretch nice in that glute and our hip. And we want to relax our back and our neck. So to finish here, we're going to hold a minute on each side. Go ahead and relax. Again, find your comfort zone if you've got that yoga block. We have 15 seconds remaining. And slowly relax. Let's go ahead and bring that leg back out. Start on the floor again. Come up to cobra. When you're ready, we've got one more. That's going to be on our left side. We're still going to pedal our heels though, getting that calf stretch. So when you're ready, taking it back into that downward dog, pedaling those heels down to the floor. Come on, guys. Let's get that stretch. I'm going to hold for a second each time. I'm doing a slower pedal. Good. Now I want you to bring that left leg up. We're going to bring it through. And then gently, again, bringing it to where you're comfortable on the floor. Last minute of the day. Then we're going to finish with our squats. So get comfortable here. We're halfway. You'll notice me kind of gently rocking into this stretch. I'm just letting myself feel that all through my glute and hip. Ten seconds remain. And slowly relax. Bring it back up. Now, when you're ready, I'd like you to bring it all the way up to standing. We're going to finish with the 5 squats that we started with. Again, I'm not saying that this is going to perfect your squat. You should just notice a little bit of a difference. Maybe you feel less tight in certain areas. I want you to just pay attention and see if they feel better than when we started the class 30 minutes ago, okay? So we're going to stand up nice and tall. Probably feels good to stand here for a second. Again, let's pull those shoulders back, core tight, chest up. Let's take those feet a little wider than hip width. Again, I don't have shoes on. I'm just in socks here. I've got my toes slightly out. We're going to sink back into our heels into that squat, okay? So go ahead and give me 5 squats, not too quick here. Adding that pause. Nice job today, guys. All right, when you're done with all those 5 squats, thank you so much for taking this class. Again, my name is Kayla. This is mobility with a little bit more focus on improving that squat. My squat is not perfect, and if most likely yours is not as well. There's all things that we can work on improving. I know I need to work on my ankle mobility. Maybe you need to have tight hip flexors or calves. These are all things that we want to continuously think about, especially as we're doing nonstop bodyweight exercises from working at home. It's been wonderful working with you guys. I hope you learned something new today and enjoy the rest of your day.